Now we will try to design a simple grammar using features and some of the common conventions that we use in designing such grammars. So this is an example of a grammar that has been written using features. Okay, we have seen all these features, right? Verb form, AGR, and binary feature, subcat, everything we have seen. So how we can write such a grammar and how we can use it in a convenient way, that we are going to learn. So if you see this grammar, it looks so much cluttered, right? With all these features, feature values as well as features. It might not be digestible for a normal person, or for a person who is just familiar with grammars and all. The feature concept may find so tedious. So if we can include a lesser explicit features, that means if some implicit rules are there that says that this part of the rule has all these features and all these values, then from the writing or from the representation we can remove those features and their feature values. Okay, so we are going to see whether such a method is possible, whether such implicit assumptions or conventions are possible, that we are going to see. Okay, so we will see some methods for reducing explicit features, the features which are written in the grammar. So one method is just write the feature value alone and don't specify the feature name. Okay, this is especially helpful when feature values are unique with respect to features, and different features don't share same feature values, and the features that we have studied till now have unique feature values. So one example is given here. So here it is written as the subcategorization feature of verb phrase is infinitive, right? So we know that INF value occurs as feature value of only subcat. Okay, we have not seen any other feature where INF occurs as a value. So instead of writing this entire thing, what we can write is the VP is constrained by INF. Okay, and we definitely know that INF is a subcategorization feature and not a V form feature. So nobody or person of knowledge won't tell that VP has V form value as INF. Any person who knows these things will only tell that VP is constrained by the subcat feature with value INF. Okay, so this is one method, that is eliminating the features name and writing only the features value. Okay, then this is the next method of reducing the complexity of such grammars, that is removing head features from mother and head constituents. Okay, so there are some few new terms here. We will see what these are. Suppose this is a grammar rule along with features and values. So if you see the left side of the rule, this is known as the mother part. Okay, and if you see the right side of the rule, the head constituent means the main constituent of the right part, which actually confirms or is actually supporting a role of this mother part. Okay, so if you see the case here, on the left we have a verb phrase, right? So the constituent on the right which closely conforms to that VP on the left is this V on the right. Okay, so what you can say is that here the mother is the VP part on the left, and the head is the V part on the right. So that clears what is mother and head. Then next comes the term head feature. So head features are those features which are common across mother and head. Okay, well, that is the features which are common across mother and head constituents, those are known as head features. So we know what is mother here and what is head here, or the head constituent here, and just see what are the features common here. Here the features common are V form and AGR, right? So what this optimization means here is, if we can remove these head features from the writing of this rule, then some clutter or some complexity in writing can be reduced. So this thing, right, or this grammatical rule can be written like this, that is here we have the features here as V form and AGR on the VP or the mother part, right, and those are the head features. So those features are directly removed, right? And if you see on the right, we have the head constituent, and again from the head constituent VForm and AGR are removed. Okay, so one more thing, the head features have the same values for mother as well as head. So VForm has V here and AGR value has AGR has A here, and the same variables are repeated on the right. Okay, so this reduces some complexity in writing. So applying the two forms of complexity reduction, what we have finally is this form. Okay, this rule or this grammatical rule is reduced to this form. So can you just grasp or can you just recall what all things we applied here? What we did here was we first removed the feature names altogether. So if you see in the final form, there are no feature names written. Okay, only feature values are written because they are unique within each feature. Then the next thing was we identified the we identified the mother and we identified the head component, and then we identified the head features, that is which are common across the mother as well as the head component, and we eliminated those head features. Why? Because they share the same values between the mother and the head constituent. So they are entirely eliminated. Okay, they are entirely eliminated in the representation, but it doesn't mean that they don't have action here. In the representation they are not written, but when we apply it to identify sentences or to enforce the grammatical check on sentences, we will bring them back. Okay, implicitly it means that this VP and we share some common features and their values, and those are VForm and AGR. So another thing that you have to notice, mother is indicated using mother is usually the left side of the production, and the head constituent or the right side can be identified using the italics form. Okay, in your textbook Natural Language Understanding by James Allen, all the head constituents are written in italicized form. Okay, so here this is the head constituent and this is the mother. So this is one way of simplifying the writing of rules containing the features and values. So we are going to see some examples of grammars. So this is a full grammar written using the abbreviated form that we just studied, right? And what did we just learn? We just learned that the feature names can be eliminated for representation, as well as across the mother and head constituents, the head features can be eliminated along with their values, but in the end they have to be applied. Okay. So these you see here the individual grammar rules follow all those things, and note that in such grammar rules we should define what are the head features for the various mother forms. Okay, so if you see here for the yes mother form of the rule 1, the head features are VForm and AGR. So if you observe the first rule, can you see any italicized form on the right? Yes, we have an italicized form on the right, that is VP. So it means that S is the mother, VP is the head constituent, and they both share the head features VForm and AGR. So VForm and AGR is present in S, as well as VForm and AGR is present in VP with the same variables. Okay, but they are not represented here. Okay, so that's the meaning. So similarly, all other rules have to be read as such. Okay, for the NP mother, here the head constituent is N, and so we will see the common head feature is AGR. So AGR feature is present here with one value, and with the same value it is present here also. But if you see here, the AGR feature is explicitly written for this head constituent, and the reason is on the right side, the writer has tried to enforce number agreement restriction. Okay, so AGR has to be explicitly specified. Here the restriction is that these two subcomponents should have the same number agreement. That's why the AGR feature is written here with the same variables. Okay. So this is the corresponding expanded grammar of the simplified grammar that we saw earlier, right? So if you observe here, as I told earlier, the AGR feature was the head feature of the NP and it is written here, and already AGR was enforced in these two components with variable a, so the same a applies here. Okay. So we will see how that simplified grammar was, or the abbreviated grammar was expanded to all its feature set using just one rule. Okay. As in the case of your the first rule, that is S gives NP VP. Okay. So as usual, S is your mother part or mother constituent, and on the right side, if you see here, VP is the italicized form, so it is your head constituent. Now the head features have to be already identified. So if you see for S, the head features are V form and AGR. So V form and AGR will be present on the mother part. You can see here V form and AGR will be present in the mother part, and V form and AGR should be present in the VP part also. So in VP, V form was the only thing missing, AGR is already there, so V form is added. So in S, we saw how V form and AGR came into the expanded form, right? Then the next thing is here minus INV is written, and this is a abbreviated representation of binary features, and here it means that the sentence inversion feature is absent, right? So when we expand it in the normal expanded form, we will write INV minus. Okay, so this is how we write here. And then coming to the coming to the remaining things, if you see here, present past value is written for this VP part, right? And the feature name is not given, that was removed as part of the abbreviation step. So you know that we know that the present past value actually occurs for the feature value subcategorization or the feature subcategorization, right? Oh no, not for subcategorization. No, it is V form. Okay, sorry, it was for V form. So V form occurs here. So V form is written here in VP. Okay, if you see here in VP, V form is written, and this is the final expansion. So we saw how grammar can be represented in abbreviated form, and how abbreviated and we also saw how grammar written in abbreviated form can be written in its expanded form. Note that the abbreviation and expansion are in terms of features and their values. Okay, not on the other nature of the grammar. Now we will see how we will actually check whether a sentence is proper or not using such a grammatical representation. Okay, so if you see the sentence, the man cries. Okay, we will first try to see the lexicon entries for these sentences, or for the constituents of the sentences. So we have a lexicon entry for the, we have a lexicon entry for men, and cries, if you pass it through an FST, we know that it will give cry as a form along with S as its inflection, or the inflection. Okay, so we need a lexical rule to process cries. And if you see the lexical, if you need the lexicon, right, if you see the lexicon for cry, it is a base form, right? And if you try to insert it over here with cry plus S, we will give the verb form of cries, we will get the verb form of cries as present. Okay, so we are going to proceed with this one. So we will see which all rules from this grammar or this abbreviated grammar are required so that we can process that sentence. Okay, so the first rule is definitely required, because we are given a sentence, and the splitting of the sentence into subparts are given in this rule. Okay, that is we have the men cries, right? So as per this rule, we have the men and cries. So cries will go in VP. The men we will try to accommodate in NP. So those things are written here. NP can be an article and noun, obviously our, the and men. And VP it can be just a verb, that is our cries. Okay, so the rules 1, 2 and 4 has to be used to check the validity of the sentence. Note that these rules are represented in their compressed form, and the head feature values are also written. So implicitly we have to remember that for us, apart from this inversion feature value given here, there are VForm and AGR features and feature values which it shares with VP. Okay, so the sentence is supposed to have AGR value similar to VP and VForm value similar to VP. So we will see how we proceed. So actually, why this sentence is false, is an improper sentence, is the number agreement constraint actually fails. Okay, so we will see how that happens. Okay, so if you see the men, right, the men, article is the, and the noun part is men, and so if you see here, both the article and noun is supposed to have same AGR value. The article can have the AGR value 3s and 3p, and men can have, or the noun can have the AGR value 3p. So in order to have both of them having both of them having similar values, we will select 3p for the and men together. So if you see here, the and men will together take up the 3p or third person plural value here, and then third person plural value for AGR. Okay, so this NP has an AGR as its head feature, so automatically NP also gets third person plural. So here in the first rule, NP AGR is third person plural, and NP shares third person plural with verb phrase also. Okay, but what is verb phrase? Verb phrase is composed by a verb according to rule 4, right? And our verb is cries, but the cries has present tense as its V form and AGR as 3s. Okay, so here we have 3s for AGR. Why? Because in case of verb phrase, AGR is also one feature. So here we have 3s. But already as part of this noun phrase, we got here it as 3p. So we have a conflict here. The conflict is this one, that is for the noun phrase the AGR value is 3p, while for verb phrase the AGR value is 3s. Okay, for cries the AGR value is 3s, but the men, both of the parts have 3p. Okay, so and one more thing, this yes, right, yes has AGR feature value which should be similar to both of these subconstituents, but subconstituents themselves have dissimilar values. So this entire sentence fails in terms of, or this entire derivation fails in terms of the AGR feature value. Okay, or the number agreement restriction is broken in this sentence, so this one is false. Okay, so similarly you can see other examples from the textbook, and you can check out how this grammar works for other sentences.